Hello everyone, today we're back to working on this Cat 906M that's behind me. We've got to clean out the dirt out of the heater core so I can get some airflow in the cab. Gets plugged up probably about every year or so. I actually gotta clean it. I'll show you what's going on, why it does what it does, but I gotta clean it out so I can get some airflow so heat, air conditioning, that kind of stuff works again. Otherwise get damp days and stuff, and cab likes to build up with condensation. It's hard to keep the windows dry and clean. So I'm going to show you what's going on here. So what we got to do is, the HVAC system is under the seat, so we got to pull the seat out, and then I got to pull this section of the floor mat out. Kind of pulls up, it's loose there, but gotta pull that out. It's all one piece with this here, separate from underneath. See the seam here and there where I had just lifted it up, but in order to get that out, I gotta take this assembly out also. So I'm gonna get this out, then I'm gonna take the seat out, and then pull that out. Then there's some dozen bolts, something like that under there to get at the HVAC system, and I'll show you what's going on. For visual representation, I got this paper towel over the heater vents, just like on that side, same thing here, but I'm going to turn the key on and we'll see how much the fan moves the paper towel in each speed position. Move some. The second position, oh yeah, that's right, I got to change the fan resistor on here, so we'll take care of that also when I got the seat out. Third position. So anyway, what my plan is, when I'm done with the job, I want to do that again and see how much air movement change there is. Alright, I got a couple 2-3 goodies in there that I gotta get out. So I'm gonna get started with that. Now that I got that crap cleaned out of there, there's back pan in there also that needs to come out. To pull this compartment out, one screw there, there's one screw right up in there, kind of hidden in the dirt. There, now you can see it. So I'm going to pull that out, and that'll pull that compartment out. This does require the mysterious 10mm, so this is a very high security job, or that 10mm will go missing. Now it's time to get the seat out. One bolt there, one bolt in there. Same thing on the other side. 4 bolts total. It's 2 plugs on the back of the seat hidden somewhere back there. Anyway, you gotta pull them out or you'll tear them off. Ask me how I know. Now we got room for activities. Let's get that mat out that I was talking about earlier. And by the way, it would have been first time I pulled it out on this plug. I tore that clip off because I didn't realize or forgot or whatever it was at that time. There's 2 wires, so I tore that plug off. This one has 2 plugs. One is for the air ride and the other one's for the heated seat. That right there. That's actually what I did to it that time. Now that I got all this stuff moved out of the way, gotta disconnect this plate. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Huh. I was pretty accurate for guessing a dozen bolts, but anyway, we gotta pull them bolts off and then that plate will come off. And here we are. There's the blower motor. The resistor sits right down in there where I'm shining the light on. You got your heater core and AC condenser. Not condenser, evaporator. I think that's the right terminology for it. So that's where that's all located. And under this piece of foam is where all the mystery happens. All the dirt, and get on the right angle there, you see all the dirt piled in there. Airflow comes from the back, sucks it through the fan, and I don't have my flashlight on. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. There you go. See the light through there? What they got is like, I think it's called that bulb foam, weather seal type stuff underneath there. Because this whole box is like separate from the cab. And that doesn't quite exactly seal up the way it's supposed to. I don't know if it's just the way everything lined up on this machine when it was assembled, or if it is a common issue amongst all of these kind of cat loaders. 906, 907, 908 all use the same cab. I'm thinking other ones probably use similar concept, but I do not know cat machines well enough to know what is used in other models. So anyway, I can have clean, or I can change out cab filters and stuff like that always, but when I'm working in the sawdust or even just yard dust when it's dry in the summertime, the fan always sucks dirt up through there and gets into the heater core. So I gotta try and back that off, loosen it up, get in there and blow all that stuff out. And I usually take some heater coil cleaner and put in there to soak the stuff loose and wash it out also. And it's always a bit of a job to fiddle with. This one's got some stuff built up on it too. So I'm gonna get blowing and cleaning and see what I can or can't do. What I like to use is a product called Fomacoil. At least that's what I'm using. Many years ago, our dairy equipment supply dealer gave me some condenser cleaner, something similar to this for cleaning out. I was actually working on a skid steer at that time to clean the dirt out of the heater core, and that stuff worked really nice. It seemed like it softened this dirt up, foamed up, pushed it out, and did a really nice job cleaning up. This stuff doesn't seem to. I don't know if he had some other stuff mixed with it or not, but I usually end up using this because it does do some foaming, but not like what he had. Don't know if he had some other concoction mixed together that time or not. I never did find out. I think properly you're supposed to dilute this stuff. I don't know, I should read the instructions. Usually I just end up pouring it on and squirting it on and putting some water with it after. I decided to cook up my own concoction. Maybe this is a mistake. We'll find out. Reading the instructions sounds kind of like some nasty stuff. I did dribble a little on the outside of the bottle. So. Now there's none more on the outside of the bottle. I'm going to go put a little water with this yet, and we'll see what happens. Alright, let's squirt it on and see what happens. Alright, I got some on. If you can see decently in there or not, but Some of it's starting to work loose some. And get the right angle. Really hard to tell. But getting something loose, and I'll let that soak a little bit. I've never actually pulled this HVAC system out of here. I'm thinking one of these times I probably should, and actually just take a pressure washer to it and clean it out. That'll do a better job. But whenever I do it, I'm gonna have to disconnect the heater and the AC system, and I never really felt like venturing in that far. But the lines go through there. Can't just lift the box up and out without disconnecting. And in order to disconnect them, what you gotta do is take the rear wheel off on the, it'll be on that side, the right hand side of the machine, and there's an access cover behind the wheel to pull off, and then you can get in there at those lines to disconnect them, and then should be able to pull it up. At least from what I've studied out, that's what it looks like it would take to do. Not gonna do that today. I don't have time for that long, and I don't have time for that long of an adventure, so I'm just gonna do it like this again today. Hopefully I can get some more time out of it, and maybe next time I'll have to plan on it being a bigger job and actually pull that stuff out and drain the antifreeze, lower the AC, or suck the freon out of the AC system and recharge it and do all that fun stuff. But I'm gonna save that for a different day. To me it looks like the muric acid and that foam coil doesn't really like to mix. It looks like the foam coil kind of, I don't know, coagulated a little bit, clumped up, curdled up. Not sure. Well, a bunch of stuff was oozing out, but I'm going to let it soak. In the meantime, while it's soaking, I'm going to get that fan resistor pulled out, and I'm going to see if it's revivable. If not, I've got a different used one on hand that I ended up with a poor connection. But that time I had a new one, so I just put it in. But this time I'm going to put the used one in, or see if this one goes. That dirt always likes to build up on everything in here, and then it'll even plug off the drains and stuff too, for draining the water off of the AC system. I don't know if I'm going to get lucky and get this screw out today. It wants to turn, but it can't keep turning. But anyway, it doesn't drain off decent, and then all that moisture builds up in here and corrodes the resistor. And the resistor corroded up, then the fan don't run, but they got it positioned where it's positioned so that the air movement goes over it to keep it cool. Otherwise then it won't work that way. Point the camera at what I'm doing once, maybe concentrating on the work and not the camera. But anyway, it's always been kind of a repetitious issue on this machine. Like I said before, I think it's been about pretty much once a year I'd be in here cleaning stuff out. So I was sitting here fiddling with it, low, medium, high, working on all 3 speeds again. So with that being said, I'm going to fiddle with the connections and let it be for now. That one screw's stripping out. Either way, I'm going to have to get a vice grip out to do it. So I'm going to pull the plug off and clean up the connection, some dielectric grease again, and we're going to send it. All that crud on there, never good for anything electrical. Here's the end of the plug if it focuses. Just build up. You can see I had dielectric grease on there in the past, so I'm going to clean it up and go that route. For reference, this is what an old resistor looks like. Everything just gets rusty, crusty. It's just not good. Them diodes and stuff in there, I'm sure that's not good for it. But that's what it does. Yep, that's been warm already. Got some dielectric grease on that and plugged back in. One screw here though that put some anti-seize on. Looks like I never did that in the past. Kind of surprised. Usually I put anti-seize on. This one over here was turning, but I couldn't quite get it to go all the way. Either way, whatever. I put some Crow oil on it. Hopefully that'll keep it soaked up, softened, loose, whatever. Next time I attack this job, maybe I can get lucky and get it out. I've had it soaking for a little while now. Did try with the air compressor a little bit. Can see where that all blew off and peeled off really nicely there, if the camera focuses and the light angle and all that. But anyway, you get the idea. It's coming off, so I'm going to continue to get that crap cleaned out of here and get this closed up. Alright. Probably about the best I'm gonna get it for today. I'm starting to get on a time crunch here. And I want to get this together and done because I'm going to use this machine in the morning for feeding cows again. It's hard to go without this machine. I use it 7 days a week and it's a very handy machine for the job. So I'm going to get some of my splattery mess cleaned up here. It's one thing I don't like about this job is I make a mess in the cab and I gotta clean that up. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up and then we'll start buttoning some of this up. Steel plate is back in. Now I'm gonna slide the rubber into position. The sound barrier rubber, that is. Oh, this is cool. Clean everything up, tip the seat on the side, and I get all kinds of crap coming out from underneath that accordion. Now I can just get that other cubby compartment put back into position. And the best part, I was able to keep track of my 10mm for the entire job so far. Final piece. Now I just gotta pile my crap back in that I sometimes need. Usually don't, but it does come in handy at times when I need to. Take feed samples, send stuff in, whatever, whatnots that way. Or maybe I gotta tape a bag shut. Them kind of rolls always come with the new bags from when we make feed and whatnot. Part number tag from, I think that was the drop box when I worked on that. Try and make sure and keep all that stuff with the machine, in case for whatever reason it's needed down the road. At least got some sort of identification for some parts. I try to keep all that stuff around. I don't know where this was. There we go. Don't know the story on this thing. I'm guessing it was some sort of free keychain type thing, if I can get it to zoom in. It says Snap-on on it. There we go. Kind of a cool, neat little thing. Came with the machine. So I always keep it in there. And perfect. There you have it. Everything's put back together and ready to operate. A little bit of cleaning to do there yet, but right now let's do this. Let's see if we made any sort of improvement. Turn the key on. First, low speed, medium speed. Never seems to show too much. I can feel it. I thought maybe that toe would have blown a little more. Oh yeah, there we go. Gotta get it positioned right. It wouldn't have done that before, that's for sure. So, that's a positive gain. That's a positive gain. So I'm happy with that for now. I'm thinking next time I'm going to have to actually pull it apart and clean it out once properly, a little better. Maybe get a little longer life, and if I get it out I can actually get that weather stripping out of there and seal it off. The weather stripping is actually, if I can get my broken hood opened up. Maybe not. Now I got the hood opened up. Anyway, what I'm trying to point out is this kind of bulb material where it's hollow and it can squish and flex. That's the kind of stuff that appears to be in there. So I'm not sure if there's much I can do, but that's something I should study out in the future. That'll be for a different day when I do that. But for now, I'll at least get a little bit of more airflow in here, and when I get damp rainy days or I'm pushing snow and the window is getting fogged up, I can at least get some airflow on it to help keep it cleaned off. The other thing that'll help too is just to have some airflow and get fresh air in the cab. Sometimes between me and the dog it's not enough airflow. There are times my wife does some absolutely delicious cooking with some fried onions and butter. They're just delicious. Or chili, uses the right spices. The next morning it just hangs. And there are times my dog just looks up at me with that, really? Did you have to look? And this way I can at least push some fresh air in. So with that being said, I'm done with this job right now. I do have a different video on this loader when I did replace the fuel injectors on it. They have been working great. I've got probably a couple hundred hours on them so far. been doing really good. Actually helped increase fuel consumption. If you want to check out that video, I'm going to try and make a playlist on this machine with this video and that video. Go ahead, check it out. I encourage you to do it. Moving forward, a couple other projects coming down the road. I've got to probably most likely rebuild a PTO unit on a 966, so that should be coming in the future. Also, it also looks like I'm going to be having to drop a fuel tank on the MX270. We're having some air in the fuel issues that I will elaborate on when that time comes. And I also gotta do some transmission work on my truck yet too, so that'll be coming in the next few videos. And also something else that's uniquely interesting, if I can get the stars to line up. So we'll see what happens with that in time. I hope this video has helped you out if anybody has one of these machines and having these issues, or if you know of someone who has a similar issue, or something to look forward if you happen to be buying one of these machines. It's something to keep in mind. I don't know if it's common or if it's just the way mine ended up put together. Overall, I really like this machine. It's been very handy here on the farm, and I am lost without it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.